let's see what the 2019 NBA draft proved. In my opinion, I'm gonna say something. It proved that who was in 2019? Ja Morant, Zion, um, someone else. There are many others, but look, what it proved is that Zion is a good player, but he got injured.
You have
I don't know.
these talent evaluators who think, oh man, this guy has potential. He
Hmm.
can jump out the gym.
Yeah.
Look at his body. He can move this way. He looks like he's going to be this. But all potential means you haven't proven shit. And
No, no, no. Wait. If he's talking about Zion, if you got potential, but your body is not bearing the potential that you got, that doesn't mean that. What did
and
he say? Wait.
but all potential means you haven't proven shit.
No. If you got potential, but your body is letting you down, that doesn't mean that you didn't prove shit because your body is getting injured. Plus, bro, someone like Draymond needs to stop talking about players and needs to stop talking about like he's a Hall of Famer because he's the type of player that he's the top he's the J.R. Smith of Golden State, bro. He got into a team that luckily for him was a good team to win championships, and luckily for him, be getting one of the best scoring players of all time, Kevin Durant, and he's winning championships while just getting 4 5 rebounds and 3 4 assists and 5 7 like 7 10. Bro gets nothing, and now he acts like he's criticizing everybody, and when a Hall of Famer criticizes his game, he'd be like, "Oh, you shut up, you don't got no rings," like he does with Charles Barkley. But no, bro,
And
Draymond Green should not
that's
speak
what
about
we
nothing
draft nowadays. Like
because he's like the
the
Patrick
number
Beverly.
one pick is going to have the most possible upside. The number one pick is never the guy who's done the most.
I think if you got to be a number one pick, that means you did a lot to prove yourself to be number one, bro.
The
And I think a
2019
player like Zion Williamson, bro, he's very good, and we saw that when he first got into the league, he was dominating, bro, like bully ball Giannis, bro, bully ball big centers and everything, and he's just 6'5", 6'6", and he's dunking, jumping out of the stadium, and he's doing like big plays, but he got injured. The only thing that you could say Zion is wrong for doing that is him gaining that much of weight, because even if he healed from his injury, that might delay him coming back. That's yeah, I might agree with him
NBA
on,
draft
but other
has
than that,
turned out to
he's just
be
speaking out of
a
his
little
buckets.
bit odd to me, a little bit underwhelming, but ultimately a big NBA lesson. Potential in the NBA and really in sports in general, it's always going to be just that, potential. I've been doing these draft 3 year later videos for the last 2 years, and what seems to be the common theme of all these drafts is that talent and potential, it can materialize into great productivity when talent meets the hard work. But when that talent relies just on that and it stays stagnant and never evolves, it typically blows up in the organization's face. I want to start this video by talking about two
That's
players
true
that
though.
had
That's
two of the
true.
biggest potential-based selections in this draft. Let's start with Zion Williamson. Now, don't get it confused. Zion's talent wasn't just potential. We seen the results immediately at
Yes.
Duke. This
Yep,
man went
that's
from
what I said.
dominating high schoolers to completely bullying the entire NCAA.
Yeah.
His first
I mean, to
game,
be honest, he also bullied the NBA at a particular point.
this man had 28 points on 13 shots. His first 3 games, this man was Kobe's height, putting up Shaq-like numbers. He was
Yep.
always a man amongst boys. Zion's main concerns was always his weight and his outside shooting. The raw talent and God-given abilities, that was always there. No, he wasn't fat at Duke. I always thought he was just strong with some baby fat on him. But like I said in my video that I made about him a few weeks ago, if you're borderline overweight, one injury is going to make you significantly overweight. That's just how it goes. And that's exactly what happened to Zion. His career so far has been glimpses of what could be extremely dangerous, but ultimately a massive disappointment for the Pelicans franchise.
Yeah.
Remember, he started his career off injured, recovering from a torn meniscus. Then last year, he played what looks to be a miraculous 61 games, and now he's on the verge of missing his entire third season. Teams, they draft these players to get their teams.
But like, I mean, when you see a player that with this explosiveness, with this type of build, like he looks bulky. When you see him like with a full hoodie on and everything, he looks bulky. I know that's not how you look at someone's particular body, but I mean, even look at him right here. His body doesn't look like, for example, this guy. He looks bulkier. He like not like Lonzo. Like he looks. So with a player that got this explosiveness and this type of body, will his like ligaments, knees, shoulders, especially the knees, uh, without the right conditioning, will they like bear the amount of force that this guy is producing? Will his body like maintain him?
Into better
Because I
situations,
think I can
not
see
for
it
the players
happening,
that
like
have
with
great individual
D
success
Rose.
with the logos on them. Like the Pelicans, they haven't gotten any better since drafting Zion, and most of it is because of this. I know a lot of people don't like seeing this
Yeah.
because of his talent, but if he misses this entire season, which he probably will, he is literally on a Greg Oden trajectory. Think about it like this: Zion was the #1 pick, right?
Yep.
He's 36th in games played in his entire draft, and everybody under him is pretty much not even in this league anymore.
This game, you're not ready for it.
I am.
Also, for the longevity of his career, I don't like him having these early lower extremity injuries, especially
Yeah.
when he's naturally heavy and he's an explosive player that leaps
Yeah, that's
out
what
the
I
gym.
mean. You being explosive and you being heavy at the same time, it's not too. I don't feel like it's too good for the body because you producing that amount of force with your body being built that way, will, in my opinion, will without a doubt cause injuries in the long term. And this guy is not even in the long term. He's still in the beginning, and he's having these type of injuries. Like for example, Jamoran is slim. He jumps so high and he's explosive and everything. But I feel like his type of body can bear the amount of the explosiveness that like his body can maintain. I don't
I
know.
hope for
Just
the
my
sake of
opinion.
his future, he can lose some necessary weight and build on what looked to be a great start. He was great when he was there. He's just never there. The flip side of potential is a guy that's now my second favorite player behind D'Lo, Darius Garland. Darius was a very risky draft choice that pretty much got drafted off his potential. In fact, I believe if he got drafted in the 2018 draft, he probably would have been a mid to low first round draft choice. Why was he such a risk? Well, he only played 4 full games at the University of Vanderbilt before blowing out his knee. He just happened to land in a relatively weak draft, and that's why he got drafted 5th. In those 4 games, he was incredible, but scouts, they definitely had their doubts. Ball handling was top tier, getting to his spots and his craftiness looked pretty much effortless. But with the Cavs already not having a true point with the selection they had the year prior, Boylan was top tier, getting to his spots and his craftiness looked pretty much effortless. But with the Cavs already not having a true point with the selection they had the year prior, Colin Sexton, some people question how exactly
Hey, what happened to
another
Colin
small
Sexton?
guard like Darius, how exactly does he fix that? After the Cavs lost LeBron, they needed somebody to run an efficient offense, and believe it or not, playmaking, it didn't seem to be Darius's forte at Vanderbilt. Again, the sample size was so damn small. He only played 4 full games, so scouts, they kind of had to nitpick. They pointed out the fact that he actually had 2 more turnovers than assists, and they didn't really know about his playmaking ability. Man, they just had no idea, bro. They just didn't know. This man is undoubtedly the best playmaker in that draft, one of the best playmakers in the league, and with the team he has now surrounding him, it complements his skill set beautifully. Obviously, I'm not happy that Colin Sexton got injured, like at all. But the one bright spot about that is it allowed us to truly see how special Darius is as the primary ball handler for the Cavs. Last year, Colin led the team in usage rate for the majority of the year. So Darius, he really had to work around that. In fact, look at the playmaking difference since the beginning of last year with Colin Sexton and without Colin Sexton. He's clearly the best distributor with the offense being ran through his vision. So far, for the totality of these 3 years, Darius has been the second best player in this draft, and you can argue a wall. He's literally leading his team to the playoffs in one of the tightest, most competitive conferences ever. Like that's just what it is. RJ Barrett, he was always the player in this draft that I struggled to read, project, and predict how good he was going to be in the NBA. And mainly it was all because of who he played with at Duke. Like, he always seemed to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. And last year, I thought his ceiling was a great role player. Nevertheless, this is exactly why you have to let these young 19, 20-year-olds, you have to let them grow. Recently, it's seeming like he's finally turning that corner, and his confidence, it looks like it's sky high. In the past, RJ, he struggled to create off the dribble, and with Derrick Rose and Julius Randle being the primary ball handlers for the majority of all last year, you were really putting him in that role player situation, and he wasn't bad in that role. But now, if you look at him as of late, with Julius struggling a bit at times, no D Rose and Kemba Walker getting taken completely out the rotation,
Yo, where's
he
D-Rose?
now has way more opportunities. And recently, he's been on the best stretch of his entire career. I still don't want to completely judge RJ until possibly Julius Randle is gone, because that fit has always been a little bit odd to me. But as of right now, I think his ceiling is possibly a few All-Star appearances, and who knows, maybe even more. Literally, as I'm recording this video right now, I just got the notification that Cam Reddish will undergo season-ending surgery. Crazy. I'm a bunch Cam Reddish and DeAndre Hunter together because obviously they ended up on the same team. And so far, they've both been extremely disappointing for the exact same reason. They just can't stay on the court enough. I seen someone say something that was so damn accurate when Cam was still in Atlanta. DeAndre Hunter and Cam, they've both been so injured while in Atlanta that combined, it's like they were just one first-round pick. Instead of having two,
For
you
real.
really only got one, if even that. I said this in my D-Lo video. It is impossible to develop if you are always returning from an injury. Like, confidence is built through reps. Cam Reddish
Yo,
came into this
basketball
league at 20
destroys
years old,
knees, bro.
and he missed 55 games in his first 2
Basketball,
years. Like, that's just
dang.
not going to cut it against grown men. DeAndre, he showed significant improvement at the beginning of last year, and then he got hurt and it completely threw off his rhythm. Same thing this year. Cam, he gets traded to New York. He's slowly trying to incorporate himself in Thibs' offense, and then he gets injured again. Both of these players, they just weren't there enough, bro, and it's hard to really judge them because they're not there. Tyler Hero, his career so far is the definition
okay.
of not judging a 20-year-old by a 30-year-old's standard. Like, I don't understand why we do this. Last year, this man got slammed, and I mean crucified after his play in the first round against Milwaukee. People, they contributed all his early success to the bubble environment, hence the name Bubble Boy and all that. But this year, and I know a lot of people don't like him for whatever reason, Jack Harlow, I don't know what it is, but people do not like this man. This year, he's easily the sixth man of the year. And
he looks slappable, bro. I ain't
He's
gonna lie.
shown improvement literally every single season that he's been in the league. And honestly,
He got a
I think
slappable
this
face.
year, outside of probably Kyle Lowry, he's been the most consistent Miami Heat all year. Kyle, he's been like the glue guy for the team, that vet glue guy, don't get me wrong. But Tyler scoring in key moments on and off the dribble, that's really been a difference maker. Notice the last two sixth man of the years, they've been the top seeds in their conference if Miami can hold on. So I'm still very proud of Miami for
JaVale
not
McGee, bro,
selling
got
his
up
stock
the-
when Twitter told
on
him
the
to. Like,
block attempt.
he's clearly talented, bro.
Bist du auf Position?
Ich arbeite dran.
Ja Morant, he's the best player in this draft so far. And
Yep.
to me, it hasn't even really been close. I'm not even talking about just numbers. And if you want to talk about numbers, we can go there too. I'm talking about team purposes. He and Darius Garland so far, they're the only ones in this draft that kind of lifted the team from the gutter into relevancy. What's been so impressive about Ja, and I know right now he's the media darling, so it can be a little annoying even for me, but you have to give this man his flowers. His teams have literally gotten better every single year since he's been there. Look at his winning percentages from the time
For
that he
real.
first got there, before he got
Yeah.
there, and right now. Mind you, this
He's
is
also
all-
so he's so competitive, bro. You can look at it, bro. He always try to like. He got the the Kobe
been in
mentality,
the
bro.
midst
He
of
he
key
don't give up. He
injuries
always
to
want
a
to win.
young team, which can be extremely
And I know, I mean, all NBA players want to win, but you can
detrimental
feel
to their
like
growth.
from a player
Jaren
to another,
Jackson gone all
that
last
one
year.
wanted it,
Dylan
wants it
Brooks,
more than
arguably their
the
best two-way player,
other
gone
player.
all this year. And regardless, the team is still taking massive leaps. Ja's rookie year, play-in game versus a steaming hot Portland team with Dame playing out of his mind, and they barely lose, and Ja Morant scores 35 points in that one. Last year, pretty much the exact same scenario, playing a Stephen Curry in the play-in game with Steph playing out of his mind, and he outduels Steph. Then last year, against the #1 seed in the conference, the defensive player of the year, and one of the best defensive teams in the league, he averages 30 in his first playoff series. And now this year, this man's team is second in the West as I currently record this video. And look at the leap that he's taken this year. Like, hands down, he's the best in this draft so far. Surprises for me in this draft on the positive side, Cam Johnson. I didn't see him contributing to such a struggling Phoenix team. You got to remember how bad Phoenix was when they got Cam Johnson. But now with the playmaking of CP3, the coaching of Monty Williams, and really the emergence of Phoenix as a whole, he's found a very nice role with Phoenix. Like, I'm happy for Cam Johnson. Kobe White, he hasn't really materialized into anything special, but I will give him the Fred Hoiberg pass. Like, that environment seemed to be extremely tumultuous. Now it seems like with
Kobe
less
White is a
responsibilities
mid-player.
and
He's
expectations,
okay.
he has found a pretty solid role off the bench with Chicago, so I'll give him that. Jordan Poole, he's like the most Golden State draft pick ever, especially in Klay's absence. And KPJ, he's now in Houston, and he still seems to have a bit of that attitude problem, which concerned a lot of people.
Jordan Poole right now is cooking, bro. Right now, Jordan Poole is cooking. I don't know what he did. I don't know, like, what changed his game style. I didn't see much of him at the beginning of his career, but now, bro, he is cooking. He's confident, bro. He's going to the rim. He's jumping high. He got everything, bro. He is
Before the
cooking.
draft.
And
And most
he
importantly,
got a
he just
future,
struggles
bright
with
future.
consistency, bruh. Remember when he had that 50-point burst out of nowhere last year, and me and everybody else, we got all excited. But it's like since then, he hasn't really found that consistency, and that's really been his problem, especially with his shooting. And Bobo, the project of the draft, he's been just that, pretty much a big ass project with God-given abilities. He doesn't really do anything that doesn't contribute to his individual numbers, hence why it's kind of hard for him to find a true fit on a real contender. And too often, and this is the same problem that I had with Porzingis at times, he eliminates that height advantage by trying to play on the perimeter too much. You add that with him kind of having a low motor and he's a little injury prone, I just can't see him in this league too much longer, bro. I just can't.
Yeah, for
If
real.
you guys like this video, make sure you
Perfect intake. The only thing that I want to say is injuries mess up futures. Like, we all know that, but with Zion, bro, he had a. I still think he can bounce back. He can make it, but you don't know. That's the thing. You don't know if his injuries is gone for like 6-7 years, or if he 2 or 3 weeks when he returns he'll get injured again. That's the thing, bro. Injuries, bro, are so. I don't know. Hope everything good goes with him. Yep.